sure.
Right. So, but you're going to be watching from Tucson.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
From
Okay.
the couch.
Right. Okay. Okay. I thought you were going to go there. I was like, okay, you about to be in the crowd, but that's okay. That's still good action from the couch, right?
You bet.
Yes. Do you guys make any special dishes or have any special treats, anything like that? That's tradition.
We usually just do hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill, that type of stuff, and
Yes.
adult beverages.
Adult beverages,
Yes.
right? Anybody else got any plans for Memorial Day? Grizel like, nothing much. Oh man, guys.
We'll probably go to the beach with the kids. Keep it local and keep it simple.
That's always beautiful.
Yeah.
Are you California or Florida?
Florida.
Yes.
Florida. Yeah.
What part of Florida?
Fort Myers.
Oh, people been telling me about
Southwest.
Fort Myers. Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
telling me I need to visit there. I hear great things about it.
Yeah, everybody's moving down here apparently.
I
This
know.
traffic has gotten so bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard you guys got a lot of New Yorkers and people from California
And Californians and Texans too.
and Texans. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so why do you think Florida though? Like, I mean, obviously no income tax, no state income tax.
Right. Our governor has done a great job within the last year, and there's no mass restrictions at all. So I don't know,
It just feel like regular life.
we probably, I can tell you, we have gone back to normal about 99%.
That sounds beautiful.
That's very attractive
Yeah.
for others.
Yeah, that sounds so beautiful. I'll actually be in Florida for Memorial Day, so I'm excited.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we getting down there to hit the beach and get some
What
of
part?
that.
What part?
Miami.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe they still have some restrictions in Miami, like curfew and all that.
Okay.
As
Yeah.
of maybe a month ago, they had some curfew going on.
Oh yeah, I think the residents there were ticked off during spring break. I was reading the Miami Herald and they were like, these people are
He got really bad. I saw the news. They got really bad.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it, like I get it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so welcome to tonight's call. Love to see your faces. So thanks for those that are showing your video tonight. I would love for all of you guys to turn on your video because we are having some special guests on tonight. Just having an open conversation tonight about just persevering in business, right? Like I think all of us have gone through some sort of trials and tribulations in business, right? And being able to persevere, being able to kind of move forward through that is a very strong and great quality to have. So we're going to talk to a few people that have been in business. One of them is a very successful author that you guys will get to meet today. And the other is a wellness expert. So I'm super excited that, we can have like this open dialogue. So, while we're getting on, there's still people hopping in the room, go run and get your tea or your coffee or your as Pete calls it, your adult beverages. Because I would like for us to just have a chill day today, guys, right? Just talk, right? Like we don't get to just talk, right? I know it's all business, and I'm like grilling y'all, like how many strategy sessions did you do? How much outreach did you have? And how many tax returns did you do, right? And today I just want to just have an open dialogue. So I would love for you to just show your face when the guests come in so they can see you. Because it's, when you're a guest on someone else's platform or on Zoom, it's a little weird talking to pictures. When you're like looking at little picture boxes, it's a little weird because you can't, like as a speaker, you're feeding off their energy, right? Like I'm seeing Nora, I can see her smile, right? I can see Shavis, right? I can see Lisa, and I'm feeding off the energy from what you guys are giving me just by your facial expression. So if you can show your video. Hey, Shakima and baby Shakima. How are you? So yes. So so Shaheen says she's at the library. Hey. Yeah, I just found out that our library close to me just opened back up. So that's exciting. That is exciting because the kids love that library. All right, so quick questions though, while we have a few more moments. What questions do you guys have around this topic, around just persevering in business or overcoming obstacles or limiting beliefs? Like what's kind of coming up for you? Or you can maybe just tell me like what obstacles you're experiencing right now, and we can make sure that we talk about it tonight. So just raise your hand on the little Zoom icon. And then I just want to know like what obstacles are you really facing right now in your business? So we start with Jennifer.
Hi, everyone. I feel like the obstacles that I'm facing, it's just people like not wanting to, when they hear a big number, like they get scared. And like when you're talking to them, they like everything you tell them. Like everything you tell them, they get excited. But then they just don't want to pay, like, and or it's not that they don't want to pay, but they're afraid of making that big investment, even though it's not a big investment. But I want, like, it's just like fear. I feel like fear of small entrepreneurships, taking it to the next level. That is what I've noticed. Like, it's not really me, because I was feeling like, what am I doing wrong? Because people are like not wanting to close. But I realized that it's them who are lacking confidence and who are lacking like self-belief in themselves. And so that's what I'm just getting challenged with, like having the business owners have more belief in themselves.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because when I first started, I had the same issue. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember very vividly thinking like, why won't they pay me? Like, why won't you pay me? Like, you said you needed this service. You said you wanted it. So why aren't you taking out your checkbook and paying for the service? And so I think two things happen. One, I became more confident over time. Like my first 30 offers, I got a no. And so this is normal, guys. This is totally normal. So if you're facing rejection, totally normal. So what was happening was I was learning the skill of communicating value. I was learning the skill of asking questions and just making a strong offer to say, hey, Jennifer, thanks so much, for taking the time out. From what I heard from this conversation, you've been in business for a few years. You guys experienced rapid growth. You guys scaled over $1 million, you hired team members. But, because of that extreme growth, your taxes got away from you, your bookkeeping got away from you. And now what you really need to do is get back on track, right? You want to make sure that, you pay the least amount of taxes. You're already scared that, you're going to be hit up with the Internal Revenue Service in the state of a big tax liability. You really don't understand your numbers. So it's holding you back on making certain business decisions. And so what I want to do is I want to step in as a strategic business partner to you. You guys done an amazing job scaling to where you are today. And I know you just told me that you're actually looking to scale to $10 million, right? So you want to actually 10x what you've already been able to do. And with that type of growth comes a very big responsibility on your taxes, on your bookkeeping, on your finances, and really just tracking and measuring those KPIs is going to help you make strategic decisions, help you understand your profit margins even better. And so what I want to do and what I hear that you need is, one, we need to get caught up with this year. Okay. We need to really figure out, you know, what you're bringing in, what you're spending out. And we really need to sit down and do a thorough tax planning session. And how I do tax planning sessions, I like to come at it as a holistic standpoint, where I'm not just looking at, after the fact tax situations, things that have already happened in the past. What I really want to sit down with you and do is talk about the future, really understand not only this 10 million, but what other strategic initiatives do you guys plan on implementing? What other staff and acquisitions you plan on making that could possibly affect your tax liability? Because we want to look at all the best credits, deductions. We want to look at structuring activities that's really going to help you pay the least amount of taxes. Now, for us to get you caught up with bookkeeping, typically an average client loses $15,000 in deductions by not having proper bookkeeping. So I can tell you right now, Jen, you probably already lost $15,000 so far. And just by not having a hold on your taxes, you're probably already paying an additional $15,000 in your tax liability because you are not properly structured. You didn't have a professional, a strategic partner actually helping you make these decisions. So just off this conversation, I'm estimating that you probably already lost about $30,000, Jen, on taxes, on not having strategic bookkeeping. And so I want to help you come in and really be better, right? I want to help you scale to that $10 million mark. I want to help you save $30,000 plus in taxes. And the investment for us to work together is just going to be $1,500 a month, and there's a $1,500 deposit. How did you want to get signed up today? And then do a shimmy after you say that. Put yourself on mute and do a shimmy and go, and get all those jitters back out, okay? Because that was jittery. And then what are you going to say to me, Jennifer?
Well, I'm just gonna tell you like the responses that I've been hearing from the strategy calls that I've been having. Well, it sounds all good, but I don't know if I could afford you right now. I just have some trainings coming up, and in order, like, I just have to get my trainings done before I can focus on anything else. And I don't think I could afford you right now.
Okay, so you don't think that you can afford someone to help you scale to $10 million and help you save on average $30,000?
Like I said, I like all everything that you're offering, but I can't afford you.
You can't afford me? No worries. So when you say that, Jim, what's kind of like your biggest concern with money right now?
My biggest concern is $1,500 a month. Like, I don't know if I want to pay you that much.
Got it. So here's what I'm hearing. And this is,
yeah,
we're going back.
Yeah. The
Uh-huh.
only reason I'm giving you these answers is because I had someone like literally tell me these things, and I was just like, what? Like, it's just kind of like the more strategy calls that I do, some are good and some are bad, but I've been getting some that I don't even understand how people are in business. Like, are you kidding me? Like, how do you mean I don't get it? I just don't get it. How people are in business. It's kind of sad that they're out here in the service industry, like, selling like beauty products, for example, and they're making a whole lot of profit of one item, and they're not concerned about that. They want to make that, but they don't want, like, it just blows my mind.
Okay, no, I totally understand that. So what I would say is I was getting the same thing. Like, I was getting, like, you're going to get people to tell you those objections, right? Which is why we have about a 20% close rate. That means out of 5 people that we talk to, we are only closing how many? One person. So it's okay to get people to be like, oh, I just can't afford it right now. Bless them and release them, okay? And then let them come back. I've had so many people that I was talking to a year ago, 2 years ago, come back and be like, no, I'm ready for you. I wasn't ready a year ago. I wasn't ready 2 years ago. And that happens. That happens. So don't, I think don't get discouraged on the no's. I think I had such a great quote that I just read that said something like you want to go for the no or something like that. You guys probably heard that term around, but it's like you're going to get the no's so you can get to that yes, that person that's like, absolutely, let me, like, they're whipping out their card, right? And so here's how the math is going to go. You know how I told you that I for a whole month straight, I closed 0 people, and I had spoken to 30 people that month, and I closed 0 clients. Now, that wasn't right. Based upon the conversion rates, my conversions was off. Can we all agree? Okay. I had a 0% close rate. I should have closed how many people? At least 3, right? At least 3 people. And so what happened the next month, I had spoken to about 45 people the next month. I end up closing, I had like a 50 to 60% close rate. So here's what I want you to know. It's like regression to the mean. So you're going to have a streak where 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, and then you might have 10 zeros and then 5 yeses. Like, it's just math, right? So don't get discouraged if at first your statistics, your conversion rates are off, even if it's 0%. What we need to do is you guys need to speak. It's gonna sound crazy, but you need to speak to at least 50 to 100 people before we actually get enough statistical data for you to analyze what your true conversion rates are. So don't get discouraged on the no's right now, because it's gonna happen. And don't worry, because math and statistic tells us that you have a 20% conversion rate, and that next month you very well might get multiple yeses back to back, and multiple people not only to say yes, but to actually pay you. And you're going to be like, what the heck is going on? You're going to think it's the weather. You're going to think it's astrology. No, it's just regression to the mean. It's just math. It's just statistics, right? It's just the numbers are catching up with itself. You know what I'm saying? But awesome thing. I wrote that down. All right. So let's go to Nora and then Ruben. So Nora, what type of business challenges are you having? And we'll make sure we talk about that today.
Right now, like speaking, I know like people think like it's easier to speak to someone you know. For me, it's the opposite. Like I can speak to totally stranger, but it's harder when I speak to people I know. I feel like I'm shy about my prices, even though I know their value. Like I give them the price, then I give them the discount right away before they even ask about. So I feel like I shouldn't be doing this, but like I feel like I'm not gonna be able to close. So I want to close that. Also, like I only had actually one business tax return, which I had to do an extension because the lady, this is her first time taking care of her taxes. This is her first year anyway. She gave me her personal stuff, her husband's personal stuff, but then she didn't give me anything for the business. She was telling me she did already pay some taxes, but then I figured out she was talking about sales taxes, not even estimated taxes. A lot of people don't know that they have to pay estimated taxes in a quarter basis. And then, so I ended up like I stressed myself out the last day, like Sunday and Monday. And then I told her, I don't have the information. I need to get the information to be able to do it. So I'm going to have to do the extension. She resisted first. I'm like, how can I'm not going to be able to do anything. She never done any bookkeeping. I'm going to be doing her bookkeeping. I'm gonna go visit her actually because she's not tech savvy at all. I want to help her because she's not losing because of anything, because she's using her business card to pay grocery, to pay rent, to do everything. She's eating every day. I think she traveled in the beginning, and she traveled from her business. So I know a lot of people have been doing this. So I don't know, like during tax season, how do you deal with these people? Like they haven't done, how do you do their taxes, Like how she already got, like I told her $500 to do it, and I got like $250 down deposit. She resisted first. She's like, she thought she's gonna pay for bookkeeping $300 a month. She thought like, I'm gonna take care of everything with that $300 a month. So it's just So I don't know how would you charge people to do any bookkeeping before they do their taxes, and in that tax season, how can you take care of all of that? And also like challenge when I speak to people I know, like I want to avoid it. I want to book with someone I don't know, even though it's easier to close with the people I know. And I already closed with some, but they reached out to me. I didn't.
Oh, okay. So you haven't closed anyone you know?
I have actually. I have
Okay.
closed most three I know. Actually, I have now one quarterly bookkeeping
Mhm.
organization, and then one I'm fixing their payroll for the last year, and I signed them up for the payroll in QuickBook, and still doing filing for the entire year. Still working on that. And also I have this business owner. I met her, and she was my friend on Facebook before, like 2 years ago. I met her, and actually I reached out to her because she was saying like I survived the year with my business, you know.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I reached out to her, and then like, but she had to say something. I feel like, okay, she might need me. Like I wouldn't just go and reach out. Like most of the people I close, I know them. Like there's a couple like I don't know, or someone referred that I know, like referred them to me. But I find like my strategy session go more smooth, and I'm more confident when I'm speaking to people who I don't know.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Most people it's the other way around. Most people it's
Yeah.
the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I put here was you wanted to know in the beginning, you were saying that how do you charge for like a bookkeeping cleanup? We typically just we discount it for them with the expectation that they're going to become a monthly client. So it's the same way. You just say, hey, normally I would have charged you, for instance, $500 per month. That would have been $6,000 for the year, but we'll do your bookkeeping cleanup for 75% off, you know.
But when they come in the last minute and they want you to do their taxes, and then they haven't done bookkeeping, and how can you do that even?
Oh yeah, so you will file an extension and then get their bookkeeping cleaned up. Yep, and then file their taxes. They will have to file, and I would hope they will want to file an extension so they don't get hit with a filing penalty, non-filing penalty.
Okay, so I have to just like be on my feet and say like, okay, this is what we have to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't take their taxes, right?
Yeah, because how else would you
Okay.
do it? You know, yeah, that you just got to have your standards. I was telling a group of you guys this the other day, like you just have to have your standards on how you do business, right? So if certain people come to you and they're at a certain level in their business or they need certain things done, you're like, hey, I can't perform my task at a high level until we get this done, which in this instance is bookkeeping. So we can't possibly prepare an accurate tax return unless we know your true numbers, especially if it's a corporation. Like we need to know their stock basis or their partnership basis. That's going to affect, you know, their K1 schedules. They need bookkeeping when it's at that level for sure. But yeah, just for you to guys to perform your jobs at a higher level, you need them to have proper bookkeeping set up. And if they don't, then you need to charge for that. Because I used to do it for free. People used to come in and give me their taxes and be like, oh, I didn't do my bookkeeping all year too. And I'm like, no worries, I'll do your bookkeeping for the year for like $400. So I'll do their taxes plus a year's worth of bookkeeping for $400. Yeah, I was psycho, which is why I'm so hard on you guys now about your pricing, because I'm like, but yeah, so great question, Nora. Noted here. So we'll talk a little bit more about getting comfortable with people that you do know. Like that's important, right? People that you do know, being more confident with them. And then Ruben, what question or what piece of your business do you feel you are being held back on?
My God, Krista. I would say probably the biggest like overall piece is I guess transitioning out of like that employee to entrepreneur mindset, because right now I still have my 9-to-5 job. So as I'm still building my business, you know, there's just like this how do I say this? Like the biggest obstacles are just trying to like just to keep it real, be honest, like with COVID and everything, like I took a lot of like big setbacks in my career. I got laid off, and it's just almost like it shatters your confidence because now you're rebuilding again. And then not only this, but you're also going into your another venture like bookkeeping, and I've been in accounting and finance for 5 years, so I know I'm a competent, and good professional. I'm doing really good at my current job now, but it's just like, how do you build one, the confidence as you're getting out of like your employee mindset, but also two, like how do you also like build the confidence to really start your business that you're going to be doing. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense.
Yep. So employee to entrepreneur mindset, and then build the confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those are the two biggest things I think for me. Especially like I think, and that's one of the reasons why I bought your program, because I know you've gone through hard and difficult times. And you've seen, I think you took a lot of bullets for us. So that's why I'm learning a lot from this program and being part of the calls. It's like, you've gone through a very hard and difficult and dark time, and that's me now. And how do you build the confidence to do it again? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you could have easily, I think, and I don't know what part of your story, but you could have easily just been like, you know what, I'm going back to my 9 to 5. You could have easily done that, right? And you would have been a good employee and done that, but you decided to rebuild again. And just that part of your phase when you're rebuilding again, when you got so much blows and hit, like that's the part where I like to know more about.
I love that, Ruben. Thank you. Ruben was like, you've already been to hell and back.
Hell and back, yeah. When I saw that, I think that's when I signed up. I was like, okay, because that's where I'm at now.
Yes.
And I need that support and thing. And yeah, these Zoom calls have been helpful. And I don't know if you saw my Facebook group, but I already got my LLC already. I already got everything. I'm ready to start making phone calls. I'm at that point right now. But it's just more of like when I make the phone call, it's like, I don't know if it's happened to you, but like these past events starts triggering in your mind. Oh, well, what if they say no? Or what if that person, 2 years ago was right? Or what if this person said, you know what I'm saying? And knowing the confidence to break through that. That's where I need help with.
Yes, I love that. Okay, cool. So you guys are in the right room tonight, because we're gonna talk about all of this good stuff. Thank you for sharing that, Ruben.
No, thank you.
I think that's a perfect segue to introducing our guest for tonight. So we could tackle that question together as guests, my guest host tonight. So welcome everyone. My first guest is Miss Javay Johnson. She is the author of 2 wonderful books. The first book is called Success is Spelled with 2 C's and The Soul of a Winner. Javay is an entrepreneur and a visionary. So she's over there holding up the book. And I've been knowing Javay for Javay, how long has it been now? I think it's been 13, 14 years, because my daughter is 13. So I think I met you right before I had my daughter. So it's probably been about 14 years.
Oh yeah, we're telling our age now.
I was 14 when I met Javay.
we go way back. I just absolutely love you, Krista. We go way back, and it's just so cool to, see and be amongst peers and watching people progress and grow and build. And you like, I remember when you were struggling. I remember those days when it was, just the 2 babies and,
Yes.
you did what you had to do. And to see you now and who you've become and the perseverance that you had, you inspired me, and that's what I think that we don't have enough of. We need to start sharing these stories about how, everything isn't always going to come packaged in a pretty bow and, success is going to be wrapped up in this nice little box. No, that's not reality.
Right.
And, to know that when that other people have maybe faced certain struggles or face certain issues, not only can you learn from those mistakes and ideas, but it also gives you faith to forge on, to continue to believe in your passion, in your dreams, and to just push forward, even when you may wake up one morning and say, wow, this isn't going to work. But I've always been a person to say that the only time failure exists is when you cease trying. So failure doesn't even exist.
Right. Until you stop. Right. Right.
Exactly. So there's no such thing as a failure. If you keep going and you keep pushing and you keep moving, things will come together. Things will work out the way they're supposed to be. You will see a return on your investment. You will start to see things happening, even things that you maybe not have even imagined, because that's happened to me. And I guess I'm kind of passionate about it because I have lived, the things that I talk about. I'm also a motivational speaker. I do workshops about success and just a myriad of things dealing with entrepreneurship. And as Krista mentioned, and as I showed my books, just to give you a little background about myself, my first book, Success is Spelled with 2 C's. It's interesting. I didn't even realize this, but I actually wrote and published 2 books in 1 year. My first book came out in March 2013, and this came out in December of 2013. And the first book is a story and a workbook about when I was living in a homeless shelter. And when you have experienced a situation where you have nothing, zero, you don't have anyone to depend on. And at the time, just to give you like context, I was 18. So, at 18, no credit history. I didn't have a job, didn't have a car. So it wasn't like I could just go out and really support myself. And so I ended up in a homeless shelter. And at the time I was in college. It was my first freshman year of college. And I was going to classes, taking public transportation, coming back, sleeping in the homeless shelter, studying in the basement because the people knew that I was in school and I needed like quiet time. And I can just remember that so far in my life, and God forbid I ever have a low point, but that was the lowest point in my life. But at the same time, it was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life because it taught me to persevere. It taught me to depend on myself. It taught me to have confidence in myself and in my decision-making, even if it isn't popular or even if you're on the cutting edge of someone and people don't share your vision because they don't understand it or whatever it may be. But it taught me to create the fuel that I need to press forward. And psychologically for me, I felt like my family had given up on me. I really didn't have any friends I can go to because I felt like, I'd be a burden. And, when you're that low and it's almost like I almost feel like you have nothing to live for. But to my point in testimony, having zero and being able to still pull myself up by the bootstraps means that anyone in the world can have zero and you can still be a success. You can still do it. And it's about your mindset. It's about not succumbing to the negativity. It's about continuing to believe in yourself, believe in your goals, believe in your dreams, and really shutting out the outside chatter. The cars that drive by that splashes mud on the fresh snowflakes, shutting all of that out and really having tunnel vision on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve, like intense focus, basically. And with that, you can accomplish anything you want. I mean, I've done some things in life that, you know, when I look at how at 18, that was my first real adult experience, is like being in a situation where I was totally disenfranchised. I didn't have any tools to be an adult. Like my life could have taken a drastic turn, but it didn't. And I could have gave up on myself then, but I just kept pushing through. And from that, a lot of great things have happened. You know, I have 2 college degrees, also graduate certificate in project management. And that's what I do by day. I'm a senior project manager at Ford Motor Company. I've written 2 books. I've created programs to teach people how to become a life remodel specialist, which is like a specialized life coach. They can use my books to, you know, teach people how to get themselves back on track. I've traveled the world. I've owned and sold a Tesla. I've had that. Every dream car that I've put on my vision board, I've been able to get. You know, and again, it's not just about materialistic things, but those are kind of like the proof in the pudding. But I also have been blessed to have great health, to have great family, to have great friends and support groups, you know, people like Krista, like-minded individuals that are really trying to forge forward and make an impact in this world, not just for themselves, but, you know, because what we all do, you know, it's not just a 9 to 5, you know, on entrepreneurship. We really are making an impact in the world. We're leaving our mark. And I think people, you know, may not really look at it that way. It's like, oh, this is a means to an end. It's also my passion, but you know, some things may not work, but you have to really think on a macrocosmic level of what it is that you're doing. Each one of you all are doing something great. You're doing something excellent. You're doing something that you are leaving a mark on the world. People are going to remember you. And I think when you look at success and achievement and just everything, the accoutrements that come along with that, the feeling, the emotion, I think like for me personally, the biggest thing is not what I acquired or not how much money I made or whatnot. Who did I impact? How many people's lives have I touched? Who have I possibly changed their trajectory of life because of my message, because of sharing my story, or because of being an encouraging vibration to people? And that's like really, like to me, that's really important. So I think when you can look at yourself and you're more than a business person, you're more than an entrepreneur, you're more than just a person with like a dream and goal, or you know, you're far greater than that. And when you can look at yourself and walk in that light, then you have all the perseverance you need. You have all of the drive you need. You have all of the confidence you need. You will be able to close these deals because you walk with a purpose.
Love that.
Yeah, sorry, I went off on a tangent, but I was moved. I had to go there.
You said you was moved. Oh, thank you. So no, I love that because you were you were mentioning some really good stuff, like you know, just having that greater purpose to kind of keep you to persevere. I think is what I got from that for sure. Is like if you don't have a greater purpose, like when you come towards adversity, you're gonna crumble, you're gonna give up if you don't have something that kind of keeps you moving forward. So I totally resonate with that. So what I'm gonna do is ask a few questions. I'm gonna introduce our other guests too, and I'm gonna fire off probably about, I think we get through maybe 2 to 3 really good questions and have you guys go back and forth. So we'll keep our responses to maybe about 2 to 3 minutes per response for each. So that'll be about, yeah. So that take us for another about 20 minutes. Our second guest is Bonnie Bright. Bonnie, I've been knowing all my life, all my life as well. And so Bonnie is a wellness expert. And what I really wanted to talk to you about, Bonnie, was Bonnie is a wellness practitioner, scholar, and business consultant. Okay, we got to put some respect on that title. Let me say it right. Okay. And so what I wanted to bring Bonnie on as well was really talking about the inner peace aspect of it, right? Because when it comes to business, a lot of people forget, like, if you do have to manage your emotional side, like getting told no is an emotional response, right? It's going to elicit an emotional response. So how do you keep the peace? And so we'll start off with this first question. So I'll ask it to Bonnie, and then I'll pop back over to you today. And while they're responding, guys, like, type in the chat, like, give us your feedback, like, answer these questions too, so I can read them off and we can all collaborate. So my first question is to Bonnie, and then to Jabe, is how do you keep your inner peace? How do you keep, not from going crazy from people like telling you no, or people saying that, your prices are too high, and like, these negative things that just don't make you feel good in business?
All right. Peace, everybody. I am Bonnie Bright. Krista, thank you so much for inviting me on today. And Jabe, you just got me like cozy in my seat with your speech. So I appreciate everything you said, because it verbatim is probably everything I would have said too, about just knowing your purpose. So to answer your question, when it comes to just finding inner peace, so my mentality comes from like an athletic mentality. I was an athlete like all through school. I ran track all the time. And so when I'm thinking about problem solving, I always think of it from an athletic perspective, and thinking of things as a game of, like, you have to have strategy, and within that strategy, you have to have moments of knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it, what your goal is. Beforehand, you have to prepare yourself mentally and physically for the game, like condition yourself. You have to have like rest and recovery, and then you have to actually perform. And then sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win, and that's just part of the game. So I really adapt that into just like my everyday lifestyle. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I go without crying or being upset, or just like, saying, what is up with people today? Where's your kind manners? It doesn't mean that goes without said, but you feel it and you move on. And I think when I expand that into more of like thinking about health and wellness, it's the same thing. Like, our body, we have one body. We have one body in this life, and we got to take care of it. And part of taking care of that is making sure you don't hold on to any baggage or any luggage or any like thing that'll weigh your body down or hold space in your body that could be filled with air or water, because that's really all we need. And positivity, because it's very powerful. So, you feel your things, but you don't hold on to it. You don't take it personally. You let it roll off your shoulders. You might want to hold on to it for a little bit and be like, this is so ugly. I do not want to do this again, but then release it. Make sure you release it. Releasing is the most important step to prosperity, to abundance, because when you release things, you allow space for new things to come in. And when you release, you also are exercising your boundaries. And so you're pushing your boundaries out further, and you're allowing even more space than what is currently available. And, and I think of that as like from a scientific and physics perspective as well. Like, that's true. Like, if you fill a bag or a balloon with air and you blow it up, and you release it. They always say, like, when you're blowing up a balloon, you blow it up a little bit and then you let it all out, and then you blow it up some more, and it'll get bigger without actually popping. And the same thing is true for any of our paradigms, any of our perspectives that we see for ourselves. It's all about like exercising, continuing to push your boundaries, and knowing when to release things.
Mic drop on that. Okay. You know what? I really love that analogy because you said like the balloon, that's so true. Like you blow a little bit to kind of stretch it to put more, like give it more capacity, and then you continue to blow it up. And that's so true with life. Is like each time that you step out on fear, as Javay was saying too, like each time you push forward, you're increasing your capacity to, you know what I'm saying, to take on even more, or you're increasing your capacity to do more and to do even scarier things, right, that you didn't think that you would do before. So I love that analogy. All right, Javay, on to you. So how do you keep the inner peace when people are telling you no, saying your prices is too high? Like, what are some tangible things that the audience can walk away with?
Yes, well, definitely. And I totally agree with everything you said, Bonnie, right on point. And I think too, it's all in how we manage our perception of things, because in sales, that's like the number one thing that they teach. You're going to get so many no's and then you're going to get to a yes. That's like a standard of what they teach in sales, because that's like an expectation. So I guess they taught that to try to make people's skin thicker, because that's just the reality. Every person is not your customer, and that's just the reality. And, but that doesn't mean that because you may have gotten 3 no's or something like that today, that no one believes in your product, or no one believes in your ability, or no one believes that you can do this. And I faced that with myself, feeling like I actually went through it, where I was like, nobody has value for what I have to offer. And I had to really change that mindset and look at it from a different vantage point and place my value of what I had to offer back into play, because I know it's valuable. And, as long as I know that, then it is valuable to the world. So it's kind of like being able to try to mitigate the emotions that come from rejection. That's what it boils down to, and being able to like not emotionally take that all in and have it being personal. It's like you have to kind of separate, it may not be the right time for the customer, or there can be many situations that why a customer can say no or whatnot, but it does not have a reflection on you as a person and what you have to offer. It's still valuable. And one of the points that I was taking some notes, and one of the things that I wanted to say, like when you're looking at your inner peace, again, it's about managing your perception. Because sometimes we look at things that happen in the world or happen to ourselves, and not to say that things aren't sometimes negative, but sometimes these things that may have happened, there's a silver lining in the clouds. And if you can hold on to that and not fall into the trap of dwelling in the negative and feeling that negative emotion and attaching to that vibrational frequency, sometimes it's a struggle, but you have to really push yourself out of that and tap into positive vibrations and frequencies and the positive outlook. And what I think about is, this is a quote that I have in my book, The Soul of a Winner. And this is from Conan O'Brien. He was actually speaking at the 2011 commencement for Dartmouth College. And this quote really resonated with me, and I had to put it in my book because it's true. I feel it's true. Conan O'Brien states, "It is our failure to become our perceived ideal that ultimately defines us and makes us unique. It is not easy, but if you accept your misfortune and handle it right, your perceived failure can become a catalyst for profound reinvention." And to me, that is so much in that quote, because a lot of times we think that if something doesn't go our way, all is lost. shut down shop, pack everything up, but that may not be the case. It may just be a situation where you might need to step outside of your box. Maybe you need to get a little bit more creative or like adjusting to the stimulus in the environment. Like, we're all dealing with the pandemic. What can we do or offer or do differently that no one has, provided a solution for yet? It's really about being a visionary and thinking about solving problems and solving getting answers for questions that may be perceived as like a negative thing, but it just all depends on how you look at it. And that's the biggest thing, is managing your perception on all levels, and using that as a foundation to build something new or to expand on what you're already doing. So that's what I think about kind of keeping inner peace, is just really managing your thought processes around the situations and things that are happening around you.
That's so true. That's so true. That made me think about a study that I had read a few years ago. It said to do that, like a tangible way to kind of manage your perception, like say you're driving in the car and somebody cuts you off, and like immediately you're like road raging. You're like, your children in a car, your pet might be in the car, and you had to slam on the brakes and the pet flew up, you know what I'm saying? And, you're like, Pete, you laugh. Pete, you can't laugh because you're going to make me laugh, okay? But this was a real situation, by the way, that happened to one of my friends. He slammed on the brakes, his pet flew up. He had a cute little dog, and the dog, now Pete got me laughing about the dog. Okay. So the moral of the story is, here's what the tangible thing is. It says to change your perception by changing the narrative that you're telling yourself. So instead of saying that person is a jerk, they cut me off, how rude, you changed the perception to maybe something really bad just happened and they're on their way to the hospital, or maybe somebody is hurt and they're on their way, and let me bless and release them. Like, let me wish them well on their way to where they're going. So just changing it, like training yourself to do that. And when I found that out, Javay, years ago, it completely changed my life, because I was the negative perceptor. Like, I would immediately look at someone's actions and be like, oh, they doing that, and they're, and what a jerk, and da da da, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would immediately go there, as opposed to giving that person the benefit of the doubt to say, maybe something is happening in their life. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe they're having a bad day. Like, change the perception to where it's not about you, and it's more so like what's happening with them. Like they are going through something. They're experiencing that is traumatizing or traumatic, and it has nothing to do with me, and kind of taking my emotions and feelings and stuff out of the picture. And that's really just to keep you grounded, like Javay said, like just to keep your inner peace, because even if they were just being a jerk, like what good is it you getting all riled up on that anyway? You know what I'm saying? Getting your blood pressure up, and and now your day is ruined. So I love how you said that, managing your perception of things. All right, so final question. So what Ruben said here, he said two things. He said, how do I transition the mindset? Like, how do I come from like employee to entrepreneur mindset? But he also said, how do I build the confidence, right? How do I build the confidence? So I think we could tackle that in this part right here, where we could just really talk about mindset and confidence. So we'll start with Bonnie. So for you, Bonnie, like, how do you have the confidence to do what you want to do, right? To go after the things that you want to have. And what is that mindset piece like to help you? And just giving any tangible, lessons or keys that you can give the community.
Yes. Okay. This is such a great question. And I really appreciate Ruben asking this. And so just thinking about, okay, so because I like, when I talk about things abstract, we could go like out into outer space. I'm going to try and keep it grounded and use the example of moving from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. So I would say so stepping back, recognizing that you are the narrator of your story, you are writing your own story. And going back to the previous question of like understanding perspective and giving someone who might like make you upset the role of a more empathetic role where they're going to the hospital to support someone really changes the way you're telling your story. And so to create off rip, like you begin your story creating a problem of there being like the workspace and then you, as if they're two different things, creates like more struggle in your life. So instead, see yourself, your mindset is the same, whether you're an employee or you're an entrepreneur, you're still the same person. You're just changing where you're getting paid for what you do and your control over how much that's being valued. So recognizing that there's no shift, there's no mindset that needs to happen. You're just changing the tools that you're using to do what it is that you do. And so you might be picking up a heavier tool because you're in more control of it. You don't have other people lifting with you in terms of having like an employer to kind of like be insurance. But that's okay, because that heavier tool is going to make you more strong. It's going to make it so that you can pick up even heavier tools. And so recognizing that just putting that problem in front of you that doesn't exist, of thinking that you have to change who you are in order to be successful, is a major like spring cleaning, you know, like you're cleaning house. And so you have the mind, you recognize that your mindset is already there. And so now you're just thinking about moving forward and putting things into your reality that actually serve and fuel the idea of who you're thinking that you have to transform into. So if that means that you need to like bring some brighter colors into your life, you know, if you need to wake up and have like a whole dozen roses sitting in your face when you wake up, so you can remember and remind yourself like, oh yeah, I did that for myself so I could remember that, you know, I'm special because of this. So like start adorning your space with things that remind you of why you're doing it, the things that you do. And adorning isn't just with things, it's with people, it's with thoughts, it's with the food you eat, it's with drinking water, you know, like give yourself praise constantly every day, because you're not going to get that in like the workspace setting in terms of like promotion, unless you're giving yourself promotions, you know, like give yourself those things that you feel like you're getting in a more, constricted, I'll say that, a more constricted space of like a workspace setting where you're not the entrepreneur, and how that changes when you do become like the full writer of your own narrative. So just recognizing that you got it within you already, you know, bring people around you that reflect that. You know, I tell my daughter all the time that we recycle things and we can recycle people too. You know, like people can be recycled. If they're no longer using you, put them back out into the world. Let them like marinate a little bit, let them fertilize somewhere else and grow somewhere else. And the same is true with people in your space, and the same is true of things in your space. You got to look around, and if something's stale or you haven't touched in a while, get rid of it, you know, remove it, allow space. It goes, I mean, it's kind of like going back to the first question. It's just like, you know, your mindset is already there. You're successful already. You just need to create your environment around you that reflects that. And you're doing that. And you have to trust in your talent. And one other thing that I want to say that kind of also goes back to the other one is just remembering when we're talking about science. I'm a nerd, y'all. I love science. But just remembering that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred from one object to another. And so we are energetic beings by nature. And this isn't some like cosmos stuff. Like we are electrical currents. Our heart beats with electricity, you know, and so we are energetic bodies. And so when energy is moving, it's moving through us. And because we're conscious beings, we have the ability to shift how that energy is being directed. And that's what makes us different than like a yoga mat or a desk, you know, so use that power. Recognize that if you're feeling funky, you just need to like go out in the world and go talk to some people who aren't feeling funky, you know, like transfer that energy, or go talk to a tree, or go talk to nature. If you don't want to shout at somebody, which I recommend you don't do, go out in nature and scream like that. You'll be well received. So just remembering that you are writing your own narrative. You got an eraser with you. You can like do however you want to. If you decide, you know what, I don't even like this narrative anymore, I'm going to drop the whole thing and change. That's okay too, because you're making it. So, and you got it.
Awesome. I love that. So I put my gems in the chat. You said start adorning your space, right? With reminders who you are and your energy is power. I love that. And guys, if you're picking up gems from any of this, like type it in chat so we can document. The chat works as our log. So we go back and, we can review and see what you guys liked. What was some key takeaways? All right, Gervais. So let us know, the question was the mindset and confidence to persevere, to be an entrepreneur, really coming from employee to entrepreneur and just having that confidence and mindset piece.
Yes. So don't kick me off of Zoom because I'm about to take you way back to Krista 1.0 before Krista in 2021. We take you back. I don't know if you remember this, but this is when you had just started off with accounting services. And we had a conversation. I don't know if you remember, about a client.
Oh, I tell that story all the time.
Oh, do you? Okay. Okay, so everybody knows that story. Do you remember what I said to you when you told me?
You refresh my memory because everybody might not know that story. So go ahead.
Well, basically, I don't really know. We were just on the phone talking. It was probably about something else that we were talking about. And you were explaining to me that you had a business client that you were going to do some accounting for. And this was going to be like a major client. And their attitude towards you, I don't want to say it wasn't professional. I think they were a little aggressive. I would say that in how you described it. And that can really, I understand how that can be like a confidence killer if you are telling someone, hey, I can do this, and they're coming at you like, well, I mean, can you really do it? Why should I trust you? Why should I pay you this? And I think you kind of walked out of that deal at first.
I did walk out of the deal. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I could do it. I was like, you're right. I can't do this job.
Uh-huh.
And I talked to you on the phone. And I said, yeah, I just walked out of this big contract, this big accounting deal, and I feel bummed about it, right? And you were like, you started asking me like, why did I feel that way? I was like, well, I just don't feel confident. And you were like, well, can you learn? Can you learn about the different things that you need to do to perform that job? And I said, yeah, I think I could learn. I think, I have an idea of what I need to do. But I'm new to it. So I'm not just confident in my abilities because I am new. Like I can learn, like I'm willing to give it my best shot. I'm just not confident because I haven't done it before. And you said something really profound. You were like, well, yeah, have you ever started a job and you didn't know how to perform your job at first, but over time you knew how to perform your job because you got better, you got training, you got exposure, right? You had mentorship. And you're like, this time is like that time, right? You didn't know your job before you did your job. You learned, you grew into that job, right? And you're like, this contract is just like that time. And you were like, go back to them and tell them that truth. Tell them that you were nervous and that you didn't think you could do it. But after further review, you're willing to go above and beyond. You're willing to learn what you need to learn to perform. And I said, what? No, you want me to go back and tell them that I was insecure and not think I could do it now? I was like, Jermaine, that's crazy. I'm not about to do that. You were like, what's the worst that can happen? Like they say no, you already walked away from it. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. That is the worst that can happen. So I went back to the guy the next day. I just showed up at their offices. And that night I had went on QuickBooks and I had drew up mock companies for them. And I had did like mock profit and losses. And I was like, and I went in there the next day nervous. I was like, see, I can do it. I was like, I was nervous yesterday, but after I went back home, I looked on QuickBooks and actually I can help you. And he was like, okay, I'll talk to my business partner. We'll call you. They called me like an hour later and they were like, we were going to give you the deal. And I was like, and I called Gervais like, it worked. So when you guys come on and talk to me about how like nervous you are with client contracts, and like I get it, and I'm the first person to tell you like go for it, right? Because Javay planted that seed in me, right? And Javay, you planted that seed in me is a big reason why I'm here today, right? So just kudos to Javay, buddy, okay?
Don't make me ugly cry on Zoom. Please don't make me
But okay,
ugly
so
cry.
but really quick, so what gave you the knowledge to even help me with my mindset and confidence? Then, like, where did that come from?
Well, because I think in some form, at any point in our lives, we've all been faced with adversity. We've all been faced with no's. We've all been faced with the ideology of not getting a second chance. But there's sometimes when you can get a second chance, you can get a do-over. And it's really about not giving up. It's really about moving forward and having that perseverance and really settling into that confidence and knowing without a shadow of a doubt that you can do what you stand on. And I think for me, because I've had, certain situations where I felt like that too, that I couldn't do certain things, but, I look up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did this. And I have kind of like I'd say like a mindset of I can do anything. And I mean that in the constraints of morality and integrity and all of that. And obviously things that are, some things you can't do. Like I can't like just start flapping my arms and fly away like a bird. But I keep that mindset that I could do anything. And when you have that seed planted in you, that's going to take you very far, because you're going to be less likely to give up in the face of adversity. You're going to be less likely to accept that no, because a mind can be changed. That's the beautiful thing about it. A no deep down kind of maybe really means a yes. You just got to convince them.
You just got to convince them, right? And allow a little bit more of what Bonnie said, allow them to fertilize and go out and go back.
And that's exactly what you did. You went back, you gave them a different viewpoint, and they had a chance to fertilize and grow and say, hey, we're making the right decision. And
Right.
and you got that. And really quick, I wanted to say, to piggyback off of what you said, Bonnie, because you literally took the words right out of my mouth. When you said that you are the writer of your narrative. And, I was taking notes, preparing what I was going to say. And that's exactly what I was going to say. But I put it in the analogy of like, how when people make movies, there's a screenplay. There's a screenplay writer who writes the narrative, who writes the storyline, who develops the characters, right? Well, all of you guys are movie directors. You just don't know it. And what that means is that you are your own screenplay writer. You develop the role that you want to play. You develop that character that you want to see. And just like Stephen Covey, keep the end result in mind. So if your end result looks like you spending more time with your family or having vacations or having the ability to not trade time for money or to make passive income, envision that, write it out, read it to yourself like a bedtime story. Once those things get to moving and turning and spinning in your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, you are creating a work of art. You are creating your life. And that's like one of the major things that I totally believe in. I write out my life. Everything I wanted to do is documented some kind of way, whether it's written via screenplay or I record my own affirmations and I talk about who I am in the present tense from a futuristic standpoint. Maybe let me reverse that. I talk about myself in the future tense in the present. That's what, I'm sorry, I had to correct that. So what it is that I want for myself, I speak of it as if I already have it. I speak of it as if this is already me. I'm already living the life that I'm speaking about in this present moment. And that in itself is a mindset shifter and a confidence builder. And one quote I wanted to leave you with that I think really kind of sums this up too, and to your point, Bonnie, about like planning, like from you when you spoke about the sportsmanship type mentality and approach to things. It is like you have to be active, like faith without works is dead. So you do have to do your due diligence, but it's also like 50% work, 50% mindset. And the work is like, I would sum it up in this quote: a dream written down with the date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. It can be just as simple as that.
Yes, boom. Thank you so much, Javay. And thank you so much, Bonnie. Everybody give a round of applause for Bonnie and Javay for joining us today. You could use
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys. I really appreciate you. So yeah, guys, so I just wanted to have like an open conversation just about just business mindset barriers for you guys. And so you can kind of hear other people's perspectives, other than my own, that come on and kind of give you different ways on how to just view and analyze and interpret things so you can be better, so you can achieve the things that you want to achieve. So great call tonight, guys. If you have any questions, well, I'll stick around for like 15 more minutes. And so 8, and Bonnie and Javay, thank you so much. You guys can hop off. I'll send you on to your family so you guys get some R&R tonight. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Krista.
and then if anyone wants to contact you guys, can you put your Instagram or Facebook or whatever preferred way that you prefer to be contacted? Can you put that in the chat?
For sure.
So if anybody want to reach out for any services that you guys have, definitely you can put in the chat. All right, guys. So you guys can hop off, but I'll stick around for a few more minutes to answer any questions that you guys might have. So if you got a question, just pop your hand up, and I will answer any questions that you guys might have. Ruben.
All right, so Krista, I love that client story about that you didn't say. Well, can you say more stories like that? Like, my God, that is so inspiring because I did not know you went through that. Like, I don't know if you want to, if it's a good conversation piece, but maybe like have a point where people can, either you can share your stories or other people can share the stories of client things where it didn't go the way you wanted it, or something happened, like learning experience. Like that type of stuff is just so beneficial because it shows problem solving at that point. And so having that like, I would have never thought, like, I would have been just like you. I would have been like, oh, I'm leaving, bye. I would have never thought to go back, but that's so inspiring because I just never would have thought that a business owner would say yes, so like hearing stories like that, it just uplifts me even more.
Yeah.
And it inspires me more to make more phone calls, for sure, for sure. So thank you for sharing that. I would love to hear more stories like that.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot of experiences like in your mind that I would just love to pick your brain. I think a lot of people in this group love to pick your brain as well. So,
yeah. I wrote it down. So I for sure, we definitely can talk more about that. I love that idea.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Javay and Bonnie, just so you guys know, you can hop off if you want. Y'all want to, you guys not hostage, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, I was just putting my information in the chat for everyone.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
I left my website, and everybody can reach me there, find my books and things of that. But I wanted to say thank you so much, Krista. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
To be a part and to share my story, and I hope that I really inspired and touched everyone on this call, and that you all are going to continue to do great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good night, everybody.
Yeah,
Good night.
I've known Krista my whole life, and you all are in good hands. She is a champion. So listen to what she's saying. It's been so wonderful, just like watching your growth, Krista. So you all, whenever she's speaking nothing but truth and genuineness. She loves helping people. So you all are definitely in good hands with Krista.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Good night. Thank you.
All right, Jen.
Look at mommy. Look at.
Oh no, you're on mute.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Thank you for bringing the speakers. They were like really good, and it's nice to have people like that on the meetings. And I do think that it's a great idea to like share our stories, because I have stories for days. But I guess my question would be like, how to, like, when they ask you, why are you a CPA? Well, no. But like I had a strategy call, and like how to, because it makes you feel bad. Like they do try to belittle you, like, well, you're not a CPA, so who do you think you are? Like, why do you think you're so knowledgeable? Like, you're not a CPA. If you were so knowledgeable, then you would be a CPA. Or like, do you have a bachelor degree? Like, no. I'm just coming across, like, I've been having a lot of like strategy calls, and it just seems like people are picking on me.
I know it's gonna feel like that at first. I promise. It's only temporarily. Trust me. It's just temporary right now. So yeah. So that's a common thing that we talk about here in the group. Are you a CPA? Actually, I think I should probably just do a whole training video and include that in the modules, because we get this question a lot actually in the group. And I love talking about it, because it's very simple. Like one, I had this question when I first started. Like I remember I was sitting down with the company they generated like $1.5 million, right? And mind you guys, I'm 24, 25 years old at the time. And I'm sitting in their conference room, of all places. I'm in this big conference room. They come in with their files. They come in with their business manager, with like, don't even get me to talk about how I even got these meetings, right? I was hustling, guys, on the marketing piece. I was getting the meetings, but in the meetings I was bombing. Okay. So I'm in this conference room. I'm sitting here. I have on my little, my Salvation Army, blazer, right? Because I used to love shopping at I still love shopping at Salvation Army, but I used to love getting my blazers there, because you can get like a really cute blazer for like $5. And so I'm sitting there nervous, because I'm sitting here at this big conference table, this company that makes millions of dollars. They have a team, they have employees, their business manager, and the owner walks in. And they're talking to me about their bookkeeping and how they need to get caught up and all the things that they want to do, that they want to buy 10 additional trucks and yada, 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 right? And I'm sitting here well over my head, okay? Over my head, okay? In some of the rooms I shouldn't have been in. But here's what I want you to know. They asked me towards the end of the conversation, they were like, so yeah, are you a CPA? Now, there's two lessons to this. The first lesson is your confidence in how you communicate dictates that question. People normally only ask that question when they can sense that you aren't as confident as you could be. You know what I'm saying? Like people can sense that even when you're on the phone, especially when you're in person. They sense it by the questions that you're asking. They sense it by how you're communicating, how strong you are in your communication. So one of the first things that I would say is, yes, you're getting that right now because you're just starting to do this process. Like you're just starting to learn how to talk to somebody, communicate value, ask thoughtful questions, and make an offer, right? This is a new muscle that all of you guys are working on right now. So yes, it's going to be a little shaky at first, right? Rightfully so. And so that's where I was. Like I had that was like my fourth or fifth meeting with a business owner about about bookkeeping and accounting. And so, yeah, I wasn't as confident as I could be. I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't really dig deep on their current situation, their desired situation, right? I didn't know how to make the offer. I was winging it, guys. I was winging it, okay? And so, but what I did right, I answered the question in a way that, that I think made sense to them, right? And so here was my response. I said, actually, no, I'm not a CPA. I'm actually an EA, right? And so what I told her, I said, I don't know if you're familiar or not. I was like, but there are a lot of CPAs that don't even prepare taxes or don't even do this type of accounting. You know, I was like, CPA and EA are kind of like specialties, like a doctor, where you have your different types of doctors, where you have different types of accountants, and CPA is just a designation. And so I told her, I said, my licensure actually allows me to specialize in tax law, which would help them pay the least amount of taxes, right? And that's my specialty. And so I just educated her, and I put it as a matter of fact, like, actually, no, I decided not to go that route because I decided to focus on tax law, and just educating the client on that there are a lot of CPAs that don't do taxes or bookkeeping and so forth. And I'm surprised that a lot of accountants don't know that, right? A lot of accountants are like, Crystal, why did you go to a CPA? Because I don't know about audits. I'm not like, that's a different part of being a CPA. And that's really the main portion of being a CPA, is being able to attest to financials, right? Where you're actually giving your opinion on a company's financials. And when you are giving your opinion and you're attesting to the accuracy or the reasonableness of a business's financial statements, yes, there's a high level of education and training that you have to go through to do that. That is what really differentiates the CPA. You guys can type in the chat your thoughts and opinions. So what you need to do is just step into your power, as far as just saying, actually, either if you want to become a CPA, just say that you're a CPA candidate. Right? You say, I'm a CPA candidate, and we're actually looking to obtain that by XX date. Until that time, we actually focus on tax law and this to help with clients with strategy, right? If you decide to go with EA, you can say, actually, I decided not to go the CPA route. I'm actually an EA, which means that I specialize in tax law, right? So you can, you can, based upon your trajectory on what type of licensure you want to get, or that you have or that you don't have, that would be my response, right? So even though she says some CPAs don't have it, right? So there are CPAs that don't do audits, or CPAs that don't do taxes, they don't do bookkeeping, right? It's really just a specialty. So I would just educate the client from there. But let me just preface that and go back to my first statement. You will not get that question after you've built up the confidence in yourself and you start asking the right questions in the client meeting. Like when they see and hear how strong you are.
They working me. Wearing me down.
Oh no, Janetta, they ran you down, girl. Oh no.
Uh-oh, did I unmute myself?
I'm gonna get them from working you. They can't work you, Janetta. We got to keep you around. So yeah, so as you get more confident in your strategy sessions, I'm telling you guys, you have to go in there being strong in your questions, like asking them, like, tell me about your revenue. Tell me who prepares, who's currently preparing your taxes, who does your bookkeeping. Tell me what financial reports you guys use to make business and managerial decisions. Tell me about your tax liability. Are you behind? Are you on time? How do you guys pay that? Like when you go in strong and you're asking really strong questions about their current situation, and then you start asking them really strong questions about their desires. Okay, well, great. Now tell me about how much more revenue. You guys said that you just passed $1.5 million. So tell me, how much more revenue do you guys want to make over the next 12 to 24 months, right? How many more employees would you need to generate that revenue? Right? What other mergers or acquisitions or expansions do you guys have for the future? What reports do you want to see to help you make better strategic decisions? What KPIs do you need to measure to help you increase your net profit margins? Like when you come into your meeting strong on the phone, like, or in person or on Zoom, I'm telling you, like, people feel that, and they're less likely to ask you, well, do you have a bachelor's degree or do you have a CPA? Because you're so strong in your knowing and your confidence, and you're so strong in positioning your value, that I guarantee you, the more you guys go, even if you are a CPA, the more that you guys do this, you're very rarely going to be asked that question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I guess I'm just getting like pissed off. When they ask me, I feel like when they ask, like I feel like I have very low tolerance at this point for people who are second guessing me. Like, I don't like that, and so I have very low tolerance for that at this point, because my confidence since I started your program has really skyrocketed. Like, really, it really has. And it just kind of bothers me when when business owners or friends of the business owners try to get in their ear, like, why would you want to hire? She's so expensive. My bookkeeping person doesn't charge me that, and I do this. It's like, well, I mean, but thank you for that. I guess I have to then find those questions and practice them in the mirror. Where can I find those questions? Does our program have that?
Module 3.
Okay,
Actually, go
I'm gonna
through
write
module
that.
3. Like, you have to watch the videos because I go over this in module 3.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Grizel said, wow, you just totally changed my way of thinking. So what changed your way of thinking with that, Grizel? And is it Grizel?
Great. Yeah, you're saying it right. It's
Okay.
fine. Because I was debating whether or not go ahead and study and become an EA, because that will definitely help, or so I thought, or I'm still thinking. It's just another credential, and yeah, if you get certified by the IRS, that means that you do know something, and that will be something to bring to the table, to offer. I can give you EA services, and probably that would justify the pricing that I'm bringing, or the offer that I'm bringing to the table. So I think I'm gonna go for the EA. I know it's not easy, it's complicated, but
It's
I'm gonna do the
doable. Yeah.
sacrifice.
Yeah, it's totally doable. Yeah, so yeah, for sure. And I think what the EA does, kind of like what Jen was saying about the program, like just being in it just gives you more confidence. So I don't really think it's the licensure that's going to do it for you. I think it's the confidence that you're going to get from knowing, you know what I'm saying? And it's really, that's really the game changer. It's just your confidence is going to go up. So you're going to be able to communicate stronger. But trust me, guys, it's going to get better with practice. Just keep practice, go to module 3, review all the lessons in that, practice your strategy sessions with friends and family, loved ones, and just get really great at just being strong in your It's not about you having all the answers. We don't know all of tax law. Right? It's impossible to know every last facet of tax law. Can we agree?
Yeah.
Right? So you just need to know you need to be really great at asking the right questions, documenting the answers, and then being able to wrap that up into an offer to say, I can definitely help you with this. Here's what I heard you said that you were at. Here's what I heard that you said that you needed. And here's how I'm going to help you. And here's the value associated with that. All right, guys. Janice, I just saw your hand, but I have an 8 o'clock call, and it's 8:03. If you guys know my morning calls, I'm always like 3 minutes behind, and this is why, because typically my calls go over 2 to 3 minutes. But Janice, really quick, what question do you have?
My question was a little off subject. Are you going to have a I'm gonna call it a summit, a seminar, or will we all come together in one location? That's all.
Yes, yes, yes. So we have a big tax and accounting conference planned for you guys that we just waiting to finalize the details. It's going to be a great learning experience, breakout sessions, and we're planning it towards the end of the year because we think that because obviously COVID is becoming a lot more manageable, a lot more people are vaccinated, cases are going down, they're opening up more and more venues, and so we definitely wanted to do something in person and teach you guys, like I said, have great breakout sessions. And we also wanted to have like a reward ceremony. So those that have been crushing it and those that do so in the next couple of months, we actually want to congratulate you in front of a room of over 100 people and give you an award, because there's no award for tax and accounting professionals. And so we're going to create an award for the industry because nobody is patting us on the back. You know, it's going to be like the Grammys for the tax and accounting professionals. So I'm super excited for that. So thank you for bringing that up. I haven't formally announced it yet. This is the first time I'm actually mentioning this, but we'll be releasing more information soon. All right, guys, have a beautiful rest of the night. Have a beautiful Memorial Day weekend, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.